Oye, 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 espérate y espérame. Pero vamos a hablar inglés.
No me llama Carlos, ese no es mi nombre, te voy a dar un cocotazo. Tienes que entender que soy muy fino, muchacho. Me da pique porque para ti soy un fracaso. Me da pique porque para los hombres soy Pegaso. Me da pique porque transfoy sobrepaso. Me da pique porque ellos son carrasco. Me da pique porque ellos son carrasco. Un carrasco, dale fuetazo. Un carrasco, dale fuetazo.
¿Qué lo que mi gente? And welcome back to another episode of the VAMOS HABLAR INGLÉS podcast. I'm your host, La Reina Taina. And today, like I said last time, we're going to be reading audiobook-style. So, ya tú sabes, real talk, I want everyone to go to www.larenataina.com/blog/afro-joteria. Or you can just go to blog and then scroll down and look for the blog that is titled An Introduction to Afro-Jotería Studies and the Afro-Jotx Identity and Consciousness. The beginning of everything, y'all. Y'all should be honored to be here. So, straight reading, no analysis, no nothing. Straight reading. So I hope everyone enjoys. Sit back, relax, get your drinky, get your winky. And let's get it started. One more time. This is the Vamos Hablar Inglés podcast. And this is your host, La Reina Taina. And we are here going to be listening to me read one of my most proudest possessions, my most proudest creations, An Introduction to Afro-Jotería Studies and the Afro-Jotx Identity and Consciousness. You can find this on my website at www.larenataina.com/blog, blog. And then you'll find all the other blogs as well. An Introduction to Afro-Jotería Studies and Afro-Jotx Identity and Consciousness. Intentions behind the creation and knowledge sharing of Afro-Jotería and the Afro-Jotx Identity/Consciousness. In this blog, I, Reina Camo Basquiat Semino, introduce the conceptual framework of Afro-Jotería Studies, a term I coined to expand the field of Jotería studies by centering the experiences and visibility of Afro-Latinx, Afro-Caribbean, and Afro-Indigenous queer and trans individuals. Rooted in Chicanx Jotería epistemologies, Afro-Jotería Studies aims to address the profound misrepresentation, disrespect, and dehumanization faced by Black, diasporic, and colonized queer and trans peoples in the Global South. Afro-Jotería Studies is situated within the intersecting frameworks of queer Afrofuturism and Latinx futurism, advocating for a critical examination of systemic inequities and the promotion of South-South cooperation. Afro-Jotería Studies encompasses a broad spectrum of Afro-Latinx identities, including queer and trans immigrants, sex workers, neurodivergent persons, and individuals with physical disabilities. By focusing on these intersecting identities, Afro-Jotería seeks to illuminate the complex layers of marginalization and the resilience of Afro-Jotas, Afro-Jotos, and Afro-Jotxes. It further explores the displacement of these communities from the Global South to the Global North and the continued or exacerbated forms of oppression they encounter. Through this work, I aim to enrich, expand, and evolve Jotería studies by integrating the voices and experiences of Afro-Jotxes, fostering a more inclusive and transformative academic and social justice movement. Afro-Jotería Studies emerges as a vital epistemology dedicated to the absolute, immediate, permanent, and total liberation of Afro-Jotxes and the dismantling of colonial and neocolonial structures that perpetuate their marginalization. Defining Jotería Studies and the Jotx Identity/Consciousness. According to queer and trans Chicanx and Latinx scholars, like Michael James Garcia, Gloria Anzaldúa, and others, the term Jotería is used to describe the individuals of a subculture that is comprised of queer and trans Chicanx and Latinx people. James Garcia expresses that as, and I quote, Jotería, our bodies and ourselves, are lived legacies of colonialism, racism, xenophobia, homophobia, sexism, and heterosexism. Over time, the meaning and definition of Jotería evolved. In 2011, Jotería Studies became an official academic field of study thanks to queer and trans Chicanx and Latinx scholars in California who founded the organization, the Association for Jotería Arts Activism and Scholarship, also known as AJAS. AJAS was founded by a collective of pioneering scholars and activists committed to advancing Jotería studies. Among them are renowned figures such as Dr. Richard T. Rodriguez, Dr. Michael James Garcia, and Dr. Alicia Gaspar de Alba, whose groundbreaking work laid the foundation for the field. These founders envisioned AJAS as a platform to support and promote the voices of queer and trans Latinx artists, activists, and academics. Their efforts have been instrumental in establishing Jotería studies as a vital area of inquiry within the broader academic landscape, ensuring that the diverse experiences and contributions of queer Latinx individuals are recognized and valued. AJAS defines Jotería as an interdisciplinary academic field that examines the experiences, identities, and cultural productions of LGBTQ+ individuals within Chicanx and Latinx communities. This field of study emerged from the need to address the unique intersections of race, gender, sexuality, and class that shape the lives of queer and trans Latinx people. Jotería studies not only focuses on the lived experiences of queer and trans Chicanx and Latinx individuals, but also challenges dominant narratives and structures that marginalize these communities. Through the lens of Jotería, scholars and activists critically analyze the socio-political conditions and cultural expressions that define and empower queer and trans Latinx identities, fostering a space for visibility, resistance, and transformation. A quote from Jotería Studies. James Garcia shares that his Jotería consciousness came not just from reading books or taking classes, but also from his romantic encounters and sexual experiences. Jotx identity and Jotx consciousness are central to the field of Jotería studies. The following section details the 12 characteristics of Jotx identity and consciousness, providing a comprehensive understanding of these guiding principles within Joterian, James Garcia and Dr. Alicia Gaspar de Alba. Jotx identity emphasizes the lived realities and cultural expressions of queer and trans Latinx individuals. It challenges dominant narratives by reclaiming derogatory terms like Jota and Joto, transforming them into powerful symbols of empowerment and resistance. Jotx consciousness extends this reclamation by fostering a deep connection to the Mexican, Latin American, indigenous, and African diasporic heritage, while promoting multidimensional social justice and activism. These foundational elements, as articulated by AJAS scholars, underscore the importance of embracing gender and sexual fluidity, rejecting systemic oppressions, and supporting community resilience. The 12 characteristics of Jotería identity and consciousness. Number 1 is rooted in fun, laughter, and radical queer love. Number 2 is embedded in Mexican, Latin American, indigenousness, and Afro-diasporic past and present. Number 3 is derived from the terms Jota and Joto and has been reclaimed as an identity consciousness of empowerment. Number 4 is based on queer, Latina, Latino, Chicana, Chicano, and gender nonconforming realities or lived experiences. Number 5 is committed to multidimensional social justice and activism. Number 6 values gender and sexual fluidity and expressions. Number 7 values the exploration of identities individually and collectively. Number 8 rejects homophobia, heteronormativity, racism, patriarchy, xenophobia, gender discrimination, classism, colonization, citizenism, and any other forms of subordination. Number 9 claims and is aligned with a feminist/mujerista pedagogy and praxis. Number 10 claims and is aligned with immigrant and working class background/origin. Number 11 claims a queer Latina, Latino, and Chicana, Chicano ancestry. Number 12 supports community members and family and their efforts to avoid and heal from multidimensional battle fatigue. These principles are essential in understanding Afro-Jotería studies, as they provide a framework for addressing the unique intersections within the Afro-Jotx context. By building on these foundational elements, Afro-Jotería studies further emphasizes the total liberation, visibility, and empowerment of Afro-Jotxes, fostering a more inclusive, safe, and transformative academic and social justice movement. And I quote, Jotería is more than just a word. Jotería Studies is more than just the study of queer and trans Chicanx and Latinx communities, although that is part of it. It is a way of knowing, what we call an epistemology, a sensibility, a politic. When we say Jotería, there is an implied notion of these radical tenets of social justice, not just about gender and sexuality, but rather an intersectional lens. Defining Afro-Jotería, the Afro-Jotx identity, and the Afro-Jotx consciousness. Afro-Jotería demonstrates the interconnectedness of decolonial queer feminist, anti-racist, anti-oppressive, and anti-violent frameworks central to the Afro-Jotería studies, but most importantly to the larger project of autonomy and self-determination for colonized peoples. It is an interdisciplinary academic field that examines the experiences, identities, and cultural productions of LGBT+ individuals within Black Latinx, Black Caribbean, and Black Indigenous communities. I, Reina, aka La Reina Taina, birthed this field of study because of the urgent need to address the unique intersections of race, gender, sexuality, ability, citizenism, and class that shape the lives of Afro-Jotx people. Afro-Jotería Studies not only focuses on the lived experiences of queer and trans Afro-Latinx, Afro-Caribbean, and Afro-Indigenous individuals, but also challenges dominant narratives and structures that marginalize these communities. Through the epistemological lens of Afro-Jotería, I, Reina, aka La Reina Taina, critically analyze the socio-political conditions, philosophies, and cultural expressions that define and empower Afro-Jotx identities, fostering a safe space for resistance, metamorphosis, and total liberation for everything that limits their Afro-Jotería. Afro-Jotx identity is rooted in the methodological practice of terquedad, putería, plática, and ser perra. According to Omi Salas Santa Cruz, terquedad is a concept inspired by their memories of being terca, and by Gloria Anzaldua's writings, meaning stubbornness, and functions as a way to resist the violence of society's imposition of binary gender ideologies. It is a survival strategy, and we, the warriors. Putería has been reclaimed and redefined to embody resistance, empowerment, and the celebration of queer sexualities within Latinx communities. This reclamation is an integral part of Horacio Roque Ramirez in his influential work, and I quote, Queer Latino San Francisco, An Oral History, 1960s to 1990s, end quote. Traditionally a derogatory term used to shame and stigmatize sexual behavior, putería has been transformed into a symbol of defiance against societal norms and heteronormative expectations. It embraces sexual agency, body positivity, and the radical act of living one's truth unapologetically. By reclaiming putería, queer Latinx individuals assert their right to sexual expression and challenge the oppressive structures that seek to control and marginalize them. This reclamation is an integral part of Jotería Studies, highlighting the intersection of sexuality, culture, and resistance in the lived experiences of queer Latinx people. Coined by Dr. Francisco Guajardo and Dr. Miguel Guajardo, Plática is an expressive cultural form shaped by listening, inquiry, storytelling, and story-making that is akin to a nuanced, multidimensional conversation, end quote. Rooted in the tradition of informal yet profound discussions, Plática serves as a means of sharing experiences, knowledge, and emotions, creating a space for mutual learning and solidarity. By incorporating the principles of Plática, Afro-Jotería Studies emphasizes the importance of dialogue and storytelling in addressing the unique intersections of race, gender, sexuality, ability, citizenism, and class. Through Plática, Afro-Jotería fosters an inclusive, safe, and transformative space for understanding and advocating for the diverse realities of Afro-Jotx people. Inspired by queer Afro-Dominican artist, musician, model, and icon Tokisha Popola, I developed a methodological practice known as, and I quote, ser perra, within the Afro-Jotería Studies. This practice underscores the importance of embracing one's identity and autonomy, contributing significantly to the transformative goals of Afro-Latinx, Afro-Caribbean, and Afro-Indigenous communities addressing the unique intersections of identities. Ser perra is a new and ever-evolving concept, not confined by traditional epistemological boundaries. It draws inspiration from Tokisha Popola's President World Tour, which centered around reclaiming the word Behra to empower and liberate all women, queer, and trans people. Tokischa famously embraces her bold and unapologetic persona, often declaring, and I quote, "Soy una perra porque soy libre y hago lo que quiero," end quote. This declaration encapsulates her defiance against societal norms and her celebration of sexual freedom, body positivity, and personal autonomy. Through her music and public persona, Tokischa's assertion becomes a powerful embrace of identity, serving as an anthem of empowerment and liberation. Ser Perra, as a methodological practice in Afro-Jotería Studies, leverages this radical self-acceptance and resistance to marginalization, fostering a framework that challenges dominant narratives and supports the agency and liberation of Afro-Jotx individuals. Afro-Jotx identity emphasizes the lived realities and cultural expressions of queer and trans Afro-Latinx, Afro-Caribbean, and Afro-Indigenous individuals. It challenges dominant narratives by reclaiming derogatory terms like Jota, Joto, Tranny, and Transvestis, transforming them into powerful symbols of empowerment and resistance. The Afro-Jotx consciousness is a method of critical thinking and stoic existence based on a journey of self-discovery, collective healing, and spiritual activism. It is guided by 21 tenets that include a commitment to a multidimensional social justice and social activism, the total liberation of all Afro-Jotx people, and is rooted in laughter, silliness, Black trans joy, and radical Black queer love. The Afro-Jotx consciousness extends this reclamation by fostering a deep connection to Dominican/Taino, Puerto Rican/Borinquen, Latin American, Indigenous, and African diasporic heritages, while promoting multidimensional social justice and spiritual activism. These fundamental elements, as it articulated by AHA scholars and Reina, underscore the importance of embracing gender and sexual fluidity, rejecting systemic oppressions, and supporting community resilience. The following section details the 21 characteristics of Afro-Jotx identity and consciousness. 21 characteristics of Afro-Jotx identity/consciousness. Number 1 is rooted in laughter, silliness, Black trans joy, and radical Black queer love. Number 2 is derived from the terms Jota, Joto, Tranny, and Transvestis, and has been reclaimed as an identity consciousness of empowerment. Number 3 is committed to the multidimensional social justice and spiritual activism. Number 4 is embedded in Dominican/Taino, Boricua/Borinquen, Caribbean, Latin American, Indigenousness, and African diasporic past, present, and future. Number 5 is based on queer, trans, and gender nonconforming Afro-Latinx, Afro-Caribbean, and Afro-Indigenous realities or lived experiences. Number 6 is based on the analysis, celebration, and promotion of Afro-Jotx artists, activists, and academics. Number 7, disrupt epistemological boundaries, a world beyond the limits of the present. Maris 2016. Number 8, dedication to the universal cultural mission of achieving the absolute, immediate, permanent, and total liberation of all Afro-Jotx people with absolutely no exceptions. Number 9, values gender and sexual fluidity and expressions. Number 10, values the exploration of identities individually and collectively. Number 11, rejects transphobia, biphobia, homophobia, heteronormativity, racism, patriarchy, capitalism, hegemonic powers, xenophobia, disability injustice, domestic violence, sexual violence, all forms of manipulation and coercion, human and sex trafficking, gender discrimination, classism, colonization, imperialism, citizenism, and any other forms of subordination and slavery. Number 12, claims and is aligned with a decolonial Black, queer, trans feminist pedagogy and praxis. Number 13, claims and is aligned with immigrant and working class background/origin. Number 14, claims a queer and trans Latinx, Indigenous, and African ancestry. Number 15, claims and is aligned with sex workers, particularly all Black sex workers. Respecting and acknowledging the intersections between sex workers and Blackness is key. Western society's exploitation of Black trans bodies is at the fundamental core of the current systems we uphold. Number 16, encourages a reimagination of society for Afro-Jotx people by utilizing queer Afrofuturism and Latinx futurism as world-building tools. Number 17, respecting and acknowledging the legitimacy, naturalness, essentiality, and sacredness of the Black trans perspective, the Black trans mind, the Black trans voice, and the Black trans body. Number 18, rooted in the acceptance, celebration, and promotion of neurospicy people within Afro-Latinx, Afro-Caribbean, and Afro-Indigenous communities. The term is used to describe neurodivergent people of color. It is a way to distinguish between non-POC and POC neurodivergent people, as neurospicy folks face greater adversaries in this society in comparison to non-POC neurodivergent people. In Afro-Jotería Studies, neurospicy is specifically situated in Blackness, brownness, and the lived experiences of neurodivergent people of color. Number 19, utilizing a transfeminista epistemology in Afro-Jotería research, scholarship, and plática. Number 20, utilizing a transvestis consciousness as a methodological and pedagogical intervention to disrupt epistemological boundaries. Transvestis consciousness is a epistemology coined by Gamo, aka La Reina Taína, used to describe the physical manifestations of the act of challenging traditional gender norms and roles within Latinx and Afro-Latinx cultures. The term comes from the travestis people who are trans and gender nonconforming Brazilians and Argentinians. Transvestis often challenge traditional gender norms and roles within their cultures. And finally, number 21, the active and daily communal sharing and engagement of Afro-Jotería art and knowledge within and across the community is essential to the permanent visibility and prosperity of Afro-Jotas, Afro-Jotx, and Afro-Jotxes. Why Afro-Jotería? Why consider a Black trans femme Latinx Indigenous perspective? Afro-Jotería is essential because it addresses the specific and often overlooked intersections of race, gender, sexuality, ability, citizenism, and class that uniquely impact Black trans people within Latinx, Caribbean, and Indigenous communities. This perspective is crucial as Black trans people, more specifically Black trans women, are among the most marginalized and dehumanized groups globally. Afro-Jotería Studies seeks to bring visibility to their lived experiences, honoring their resilience and acknowledging the systemic injustices they face. By centering a Black trans femme Latinx Indigenous perspective, we challenge the dominant narratives that have historically excluded and oppressed these communities, creating space for their stories, struggles, and triumphs to be heard and valued. Considering a Black trans femme Latinx Indigenous perspective is not just an academic exercise. It is a necessary step towards social justice, community building, and total liberation for one of the most vulnerable and resilient populations. This perspective invites us to reimagine and reconstruct our approach to activism, scholarship, and community building, ensuring that the voices of Black trans femmes are at the forefront of our efforts. As a trailblazer in this movement, I, Reina Camo Basquiat Semino, am committed to fostering an inclusive, safe, and transformative space that amplifies marginalized voices, promotes solidarity, and advocates for the radical love and joy of the Afro-Jotx familia. By embracing Afro-Jotería, we take a decisive step towards dismantling systemic oppression and achieving true equity and justice for Black trans femmes and all marginalized individuals. Ashe. Researched and authored by Reina Camo Basquiat Semino. Published by Reina, 2024, www.larenataina.com. Reina's life motto, to reimagine and challenge the self via art. Thank you so much, mi gente, for listening. This is the VAMOS HABLAR INGLÉS podcast. I am your host, La Reina Taína, and I hope you learned something new today. Vete con Dios, y que Dios te da amor, sabiduría y salud. Mwah.
No pasa nada, yo me lo